Hello, pre-algebra students. This is Chapter 4.5, Rules of Exponents. Earlier in our work, we learned to evaluate powers. Now we're going to learn to multiply and divide powers. Let's get started. Let's begin with multiplication. The product of powers property tells us that to multiply powers with the same base, we simply add their exponents. For example, let's say we have a to the fourth times a cubed. If we were to factor these out, we'd have a times a times a times a times a times a times a. Correct? Giving us an answer of a times itself 7 times, or a to the 7th. So what we've really done here is take a to the 4th plus 3 equals a to the 7th. So we've taken our exponents, added them together, and gotten our final answer. To write this property in algebra, we would write a to the m times a to the n equals a to the m plus n. That is the product of powers property. Let's move on to a problem that uses this idea. Lake Powell in Arizona is a reservoir behind the Glen Canyon Dam. It can hold about 10 to the 12th cubic feet of water when it's full. If there are 10 to the 27th molecules of water in 1 cubic foot of water, about how many water molecules does the reservoir hold? To solve for this, we'll need to take the volume of the reservoir, 10 to the 12th, and multiply it by the number of water molecules in each cubic foot of water, or 10 to the 12th times 10 to the 27th. To solve, we'll simply take 10 to the 12th plus the 27th. Oops, sorry, I ran out of room here, giving us an answer of 10 to the 39th power. So the reservoir holds about 10 raised to the 39th power molecules of water. Try these 4 problems on your own. Find the product and write your answer using exponents. We've now worked through an example where we use a variable with an exponent and an example where we've used a numeral with an exponent. But what happens when we have a monomial? Let's try it. Let's take 3x times 5x to the 5th. The first thing we want to do is we want to pair like factors. So let's rewrite this as 3 times 5 times x to the 5th. Now, our next step will be 3 times 5 times x raised to 1 plus 5. Now we'll add our exponents, giving us 3 times 5 times x to the 6th. And finally, we multiply, giving us 15x to the 6th. Now try these 4 problems that use variables or monomials with exponents. Press pause while you work, and when you come back, we'll discuss quotients. Let's learn the quotient of powers property. To divide powers with the same base, subtract the exponent of the denominator from the exponent of the numerator. For example, let's take a to the 5th and divide it by a squared. We could rewrite this fraction as a times a times a times a times a over a times a. We can cancel to solve, giving us an answer of a cubed. Another way to write this would be a raised to the 5 minus 2 equals a cubed. This is the quotient of powers property. To write this property in algebra, you would write a raised to the m divided by a raised to the n equals a raised to m minus n. This is the quotient of powers property. Let's go on to using this in some problems. Let's try this example. 7/10 to the 6th divided by 7/10 squared. We'll rewrite this as 7/10 raised to 6 minus 2, or 7/10 to the 4th. Here's another example, this time working with monomials. 4x to the 8th divided by 10x squared. Using the quotient of powers property lets us rewrite this fraction as this: 4x to the 8th minus 2 over 10. Now we subtract our exponents, 4x to the 6th over 10. And finally, we divide the numerator and denominator by 2 to reduce, giving us a final answer of 2x to the 6th over 5. Complete these 4 division problems on your own. Find the quotient and be sure to write your answer using exponents. We have one last concept to tackle when you get back, so press pause while you work, and I'll see you in a moment. In our last example, we'll use both properties of powers in order to simplify a statement. Let's simplify 3m to the 5th times m squared divided by 6m cubed. We'll begin with our product of powers property. Adding the exponents in our numerator, which takes us to 3m to the 7th over 6m cubed. Now we use the quotient of powers property and rewrite our fraction like this: 3m7 minus 3 over 6. And we solve to get 3m to the 4th over 6th, which we will then reduce to m4 over 6, m to the 4th over 6. Let's close out chapter 4.5 with these 4 problems using both properties of powers. Make sure you follow all the steps carefully. Begin with the product power, followed by the quotient power, and don't forget to simplify. Make sure everything is in its simplest form. Thanks for your hard work today. I'll see you in school tomorrow to do some more work with multiplying and dividing with exponents. Have a great night.